So first question from Louis. If the mind is somehow separate from the brain, why do anesthetics take mind away, and why do things like dementia and Alzheimer's change who we are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, this is to do with the processes, the connection between the mind and the brain. And actually, anesthetics are an excellent thing to study. There has to be a mechanism for some very simple, essentially non-reactive substances that can be absorbed in the blood and end up in the brain that interfere with the mind's connection with the brain.
In the channels, the ion channels.
Well, yeah, right, in the ion channels. But it can't be something that is physical, or it can't be something that interferes with the normal neurological processes of, breathing, your heart beating, but your consciousness, the aspect of the brain that is dealing with consciousness, has to be blocked. If it blocked everything, then you die. So it isn't that. So it has to be something that blocks selectively. And in our theory, the one place that is selectively available is this ion channel that the mind uses to impress its mental content, which means that you will be open to, if that is blocked somehow, if somehow the way the mind works with these ion channels to open them fails to work when in the presence of this substance, which could be simply an inert gas, or non-reactive volatile organic substance, that has the selective power to block this process, then the mind cannot impress anything of its mental content in the brain, and this goes to the process of perception. So if you are in surgery and you're being cut open or whatever, and ordinarily you would feel pain, then the blocking of the process of perception starts with the somatosensory area, primary somatosensory area, where you will get the initial impulse, evoked potential of the pain of what's happening to you in your brain, and the mind would like to take it up and become conscious of it, but it can't, because it requires the mind to continue the process of the thing coming to awareness, the sensation coming to awareness. So there is probably the detection of some pain coming, but that can't be any awareness, because the mental aspect of that perception is blocked. So that's how it would work with anesthetics. And the other one was dementia and
Alzheimer's.
And Alzheimer's. So we'll deal with those the same. Yeah. So there are processes. Again, there are areas in the brain where the mind takes up things. For example, in recalling memories. And by the way, the hippocampi will be areas that the mind has to be involved. There will be high density of dendritic spines in those neurons. But again, the memory, either the formation. Well, we'll deal with the amnesia, but separately. But the recollection of memories will be blocked, because again the mind cannot take them up. They can be they can be impressed. The mind can bring them to try to impress them into the neural structures of the hippocampus, but they will be blocked and not come to awareness. And so there might even be a sense that there's something I should remember, but I don't. Okay, or it's just blank, because again, the Alzheimer's, if it attacks the hippocampus or some part of that recollection process, you won't be able to remember things. And again, if somebody has a language problem, that is, they cannot remember semantic memory. Episodic memory is what's coming through the hippocampus, but semantic memory comes through to the areas of the brain that receive the semantic knowledge, which is usually probably the prefrontal cortex, which is right here, or the default mode network, which is the medial part of the two hemispheres in the anterior cingulate areas, and there's probably other medial areas in the anterior, the posterior cingulate as well. Anyway, so there are these areas where your semantic knowledge is accessible, and so somebody could have total amnesia, cannot remember anything, but have all of their semantic knowledge available to them. But when those areas are attacked by Alzheimer's or other forms of dementia, then you will have that problem too. And we need to, if we're talking about dementia, we need to talk about terminal lucidity, which is also part of this picture, because if somebody has is totally tied to their brain, and their brain is non-functional, so they are demented. They do not have the ability to remember or to actually even function, to speak or communicate in any way. Then there will be this, or to think even, there will be the time. There are cases where a person with dementia is close to death. Usually, it's what brings it on is that their mind starts to loosen from the physical body, and this in non-demented people, this loosening also brings about near death, also brings about deathbed visions where they see deceased relatives coming to take them home. Going to have, they're coming on Saturday at noon. Get ready, we're going to come back and take you home. And so there will also be this death, even if without dementia, there will be these deathbed visions. But the person who has dementia, they're still somewhat functional, but their brain will not support it. But if their mind starts to loosen, then some other parts of their let's just say their neurological functions can still work, and if it be controlled by the mind being somewhat removed, separated from the physical brain. And in those cases, the person comes to life. Comes to lucidity, sometimes very striking lucidity. They remember everything, and they call up their children and their grandchildren and have a long discussion and say that they love them, and then the call is over, and then an hour later they die, or the next day they die. So there is this terminal lucidity, which is explained by the mind being somewhat separated from the brain, and yet still can control. They can speak, and they can understand, and they can remember, but they're not using all of their brain functions which are since blocked, but they can still function. So I think that answers both of those.